Hello everyone, and welcome to the beginning of a brand new journey here at NovaLogos Audio English. Today we open our second series titled, The Parables of Jesus. We start with one of the most famous stories ever told, the parable of the sower. This is a story about a farmer who goes out to scatter seeds. It sounds simple, but it is actually a profound, psychological, and spiritual map. It explains why some people hear an idea and change their lives, while others hear the same thing and remain exactly the same. In our context of learning English and growing as individuals, this parable asks us a vital question. What is the condition of your heart's soil today? Let's explore the language of growth, resistance, and productivity. Section 1. The Narrative of the Four Terrains. Let's listen to the narrative as written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verses 3 through 9. As you listen, try to visualize the four different places where the seeds fall. Behold, a sower went out to sow. As he sowed, some seeds fell by the roadside, and the birds came and devoured them. Others fell on rocky ground, where they didn't have much soil, and immediately they sprang up, because they had no depth of earth. When the sun had risen, they were scorched. Because they had no root, they withered away. Others fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Others fell on good soil and yielded fruit, some 100 times as much, some 60, and some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Section 2. Vocabulary Deep Dive. Scattering and Yielding. This text uses agricultural language to describe human receptivity. Let's look at some key terms. First, the verb sow. To sow means to plant seeds by scattering them on the earth. It is often used as a metaphor for spreading ideas or information. We have a famous English proverb, "You reap what you sow." This means the results you get in the future depend on the actions you take now. Second, consider the word devoured. When the birds came, they didn't just eat the seeds, they devoured them. To devour means to eat something quickly and completely. In a modern sense, if you devour a book, it means you read it with great enthusiasm and speed. Third, the word scorched. This describes the seeds on the rocky ground that were burned by the sun. Scorching is intense heat that dries something out. If you go for a run in the middle of summer, you might feel the scorching heat of the sun. Fourth, notice the word choked. The thorns grew up and choked the young plants. To choke means to prevent someone or something from breathing or growing. In life, we often say that stress is choking my creativity, meaning it is preventing our ideas from flourishing. Finally, the text says the seeds yielded fruit. The verb yield means to produce or provide a result, profit, or natural product. In a business context, an investment might yield high returns. In this parable, it represents the tangible output of a life that is well cultivated. Section 3. Symbolic Wisdom. The Invisible Condition. The beauty of this parable is that the seed is always the same. The seed represents the truth, the Word of God, or any valuable knowledge. The variable is the ground. What does this teach us about our own development? The roadside heart. This is the hard heart. Ideas cannot penetrate because the surface is too tough. If you are too cynical, you won't learn anything. The rocky heart. This is the enthusiastic but shallow person. They start learning English with great energy but quit the moment the sun of difficulty rises. Deep roots require time. The thorny heart. This represents the distracted life. The worries of the world take away all the energy. We cannot grow if we are constantly distracted by superficial things. The good soil, this is the receptive heart. It is open, deep, and clean. This heart produces fruit that are far greater than the original seed. Section 4. Advanced Language Pattern. Categorizing with, some, and others. The parable uses a very useful English structure to describe different groups. Some seeds fell. Others fell. This is the most natural way to categorize different items or people in a group. For example, some students like grammar, while others prefer speaking. In the market, some people were buying vegetables, and others were looking at fruits. And some ideas are easy to understand, but others require deep thought. Notice how some introduces the first group and others introduces the subsequent groups. Using this pattern helps you organize complex information clearly when you are explaining a situation or giving a presentation. Section 5. Practical Application. Cultivating your mind. How can we apply the lesson of the sower to our journey? First, check your soil every morning. Before you start studying, clear away the thorns of distraction. Put away your phone so that new information can actually take root. Second, don't be a passive roadside listener. Don't let valuable wisdom bounce off your ears. When you hear a new English expression, repeat it and write it down. Make it penetrate your memory. Third, aim for a 100-fold return. Don't just learn for the sake of knowing. Learn for the sake of yielding results. If you learn one new phrase, use it to communicate a real thought today. That is how you produce fruit. Consolidation and review. Deepening your understanding. Let's review the entire lesson through these key expressions. A sower went out to sow. The starting point of any growth is the act of putting something out there. You cannot have a harvest if you never take the risk to plant a seed. The birds came and devoured them. Notice how devour suggests an immediate and aggressive loss. If we don't protect our focus, distractions will quickly consume our potential. They had no depth of earth. Without a deep commitment, our initial excitement will wither as soon as challenges arise. Growth requires internal depth. The thorns grew up and choked them. In your life, the konjiri thorns are the worries and distractions that compete with your most important goals for your limited energy. The seeds on good soil yielded fruit. Yielding fruit is the ultimate goal. It means taking an idea and turning it into something tangible, productive, and useful for the world. Some seeds fell by the roadside, and others fell on rocky ground. Practice using the some and others structure to describe different situations. It is a powerful tool for clear and organized communication. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Everyone hears the sound, but only those with an open heart truly understand the meaning and apply it to their lives. Reap what you sow. Everything you are doing now, listening to this audio, practicing your pronunciation, is a seed. The harvest of your fluency will come from the seeds you plant today. Scorched by the sun. Life's difficulties are like the sun. They can either help a plant grow if it has roots, or burn it if it doesn't. Your foundation determines the outcome of the challenge. Thank you for joining us for Chapter 1 of NovaLogos Audio English. Remember that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your soil. If you found this lesson helpful, please like and subscribe. We will see you in Chapter 2, where we will discuss the mustard seed. Until then, go in peace and keep growing. Goodbye.